Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the MI podcast. LinkedIn has emerged as a top social media network for working professionals. This is no new news. It's when since LinkedIn was launched more than 10 years back, it's made great strides. Millions of people all over the world are using it. Not only in the developed countries, but developing countries, underdeveloped countries also, they have using it as a platform. So earlier it was a case of just looking for jobs. So the it was a lot of, you can say, content based on job postings or a little bit about information. Today, LinkedIn, the model is as on par with other social media platforms. So you, even as a thought leader or an influencer within that, or somebody important within your industry, you talk about different things and you create that credibility and clout about yourself, so that people go back to your content. So LinkedIn, compared to other social media channels, I mean, you don't have like an advertising program there if you are a top influencer. But being on LinkedIn, the value of the network and the follower, it is quite easy to monetize yourself. So whether you are an online coach or you have your startup, most probably a service based startup is more beneficial for them on LinkedIn, or any other kind of a unique product that you have, you can kind of talk about it and create a great presence of yourself on LinkedIn. So lead generation on LinkedIn is our topic of discussion. It's become very important how you have this whole funnel that you can design to generate leads. It's gone beyond the point that you can just post a few things here and there, informative, and get leads. You have to have a kind of a structured plan, whoever you are, whether you are a company, you are freelancer, or you are a working professional creating a market value about yourself. So you have to have a structured way of going about this. So awesome. So to discuss the same, I have with me Harshanki Thakker. How are you, Harshanki?
Hi, Nikhil. Thank you so much for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm also doing good. So where are you joining us from?
I'm. Dude, there's some network issue, I guess. You keep lagging.
Uh, yeah, just will cut that. So basically, the I've done a local recording. So even if there's a
Okay.
lag, it will not show in the final output. So
Oh, okay.
it could
Awesome.
happen. Yeah, yeah. So that will not happen. Only that, obviously, if you didn't hear it, then you tell me to repeat it. But
Yeah.
there won't be an issue. Okay, awesome. So I'll repeat that. Okay. So
Yeah, sorry.
Harshanki, okay. So Harshanki, where are you joining us from?
So I'm visiting my parents. I'm in this little town called Bhuj in Kutch, Gujarat, the closer to the India-Pakistan border. My family lives here.
That's right. Awesome. So Harshanki, you're the founder of D-Rest Marketing, right? That is how we
The
pronounce
rest,
it.
yes.
D-Rest.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So a little bit about yourself, your journey, what you studied in, how you started your career, and how you set up this particular company.
So this goes way back. I mean, I had the idea to start Dheerest right in my first year of college, that is 2016 or 17. Although that does give an idea to people how old I am, but let's not go there. I started it because, like back in school, we always used to have a lot of magazines and running the school websites, and one thing led to another. The same thing happened in college. And then I knew that digital marketing is something that spoke to me, and that's how D-Rest was born. So D-Rest actually is an amalgamation of three words, right? Plan, remold, and strategize. Initially, we were an integrated marketing solutions agency. We were operating out of Ahmedabad. I had a physical office and stuff, providing more than 13 services. And we took
Mhm.
any and every client that we could. Then COVID happened, the team grew, we grew out of the small office space that we had. And back then we were running it from my apartment. So I grew out of that, and then the clients kept going. But thankfully it was COVID. So then I understood how running a business remotely helps. And then we started expanding the services remotely. And the one thing led to another, but it was last year, sometime last year, that I had a slip disc injury. Okay, so when that happened, we had two agencies running by then. I had a team of say 40 odd people, But it got to me so much that I was put on bed rest for 3 4 months. And that's when I realized, you know what, this is getting too toxic. So I had to cut down. And then from 13 services, we narrowed down to just LinkedIn marketing. And we further narrowed it down to founders, CXOs, and leaders alike. And that is what we have been doing for the past year and a half. We now have an active presence over 29 countries. We have worked with more than 300 founders and leaders and decision makers. And yeah, that's what we do. We help people become a name on LinkedIn.
That's right. So, Harshanki, how is it like? I mean, generally, when a normal person would, pass out of college, then they will look at, taking a job and, start understanding the domain that they get into. But how is it for you that such a young age started your own venture? That was the first thing, and that also in a competitive industry.
So I'll be very honest with you. Okay, I may come off as someone who, how do I put it? I'm not used to working under someone else. Okay, and then I
Mm,
come from a tier 3 city. Bhuj is hardly 10 lakh people live there. I guess
mm,
70% of the people won't be speaking in English also. All the times have
mm,
changed now. But when I come from that background and you go to a bigger city as Ahmedabad or Mumbai or Bangalore, you realize the world has gone so far ahead. But because of my roots, I also realize that there's an equal amount of people on the backside of us that I
mm,
could impact in some way, that I could be helpful in some way, and they're paying me for it. So that's how it all started, to be very honest with you. I didn't even know that I
mm,
could be paid for making a website for someone or doing their Instagram post or doing the LinkedIn post. And luckily, I was in a university which had a lot of popular and powerful trustees. So now every university has some trustees and board of directors, and mine were some of the richest and the busiest businessmen and politicians in Gujarat. And because I
mm.
was so active in my university days and I actively networked with those people, I kept getting opportunities, and that's how this life progressed. So, yeah,
That's
that's
right.
pretty much it.
That's right. Your realization then, how was it like? Did you take a certain project or you helped out say, if your father had a business or a friend's father business, how did it actually start that you're giving out these, say, social media services?
So this started with my cultural fest. I was a president in my university, okay, and we had
Mm,
this huge event coming up. But because we were a college, we didn't have sponsorship. You know how hard it is to get sponsorships for doing
mm,
a college event, right? So sending the kids out, asking them to do a lot of things, and a couple of diamond merchants were interested in partnering up with the university. So that thing led to something. I got into talking with them. And then when we were having these discussions, we realized they did not have a digital presence at all. So, I
mm,
suggested maybe if you invest in our event, I can help you with your website, or I can
mm,
help you with having some sort of a present there, or maybe we can get a couple of your articles published there.
mm,
The man wasn't, I mean, imagine having a 100 CR business selling diamonds, but you don't know that you can actually pay someone money to get your article published there. And that
mm,
just clicked, okay? So, like, that happened, and people saw the results that we got for a campus. There's also another thing I started in my university was that we used to get a lot of Gujarati celebrities to promote their events to my university, okay? Now, a lot
mm,
of people would think that celebrity appearances are free of cost, so it just happens. It doesn't happen, right? I mean, there's
mm,
a whole team there. You plan these events, you invite them to your campus, and they bring the visibility, you give them the promotion. So those kind of things I kept learning and I kept growing. And then I realized I could actually put a price tag into it, right? When I was seeing the
mm.
impact that these smaller services was generating, that's how I started putting a price tag, and gradually it just went along the way. LinkedIn started because it was something I often used to advise people. Okay, so like if we had not met for a podcast and I would have just met you on a beach somewhere, I would have probably given you unnecessary advices on how to optimize a LinkedIn or what kind of keywords to add. And then when I saw a lot of creators doing this on LinkedIn, I mean, people are making lakhs of rupees, thousands of dollars, right? Doing this. I was
Mm,
like, hey, this is something I can make money of. And if I'm able to do
mm.
this while sitting at a beach at a random corner of the world, then I'll probably start selling this. And that's how I niched down and solely focused into LinkedIn.
That's amazing. So, you was it like your background family also was from business, because generally that also influences you, right? Like that, I have that background.
No.
I'm also into business. Then I should. It's like a direct, like you don't think of anything else, you directly go into that.
No, it does not. So my mom is teacher.
Hmm.
She's a vice president in the Air Force school now. She's been a teacher her whole life. And
Hmm.
no one in my family dabbles into business. We don't come from a business background per se, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna stereotype here a little bit. We are good Jews. Okay. If we
That's right.
find a way to make one rupee into $1 or more, then we're gonna do it. In the
That's
extended
right.
family, we do have a couple of people in the business, but no one in the immediate family.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, things kind of influence you. Plus, I think now the world, the way it's kind of opened up with the internet, you can be a unique personality on your own. It doesn't have to be somewhere in your family or your friend. Like you have your role models that you take when you see the internet only, and so many people, influential people there, and making a positive impact. So you choose your heroes, and then you kind of try to model your life a little bit around them. Awesome, awesome.
Exactly. That's what I keep telling my friends or anyone that I meet, that we're born in such a beautiful era, right? I mean, imagine paying 300 or 400 a month and getting unlimited internet. The things that you can do from unlimited
Hmm.
internet, right? And now with AI coming, everything is just growing. So if you have a skill and if you're confident enough, you should not hesitate. Right? And who knows, you can make good
That's
money
right.
out of it.
Yeah, it's necessary to have that positive outlook. Like many people look at it, where you have screens, so you have distractedness, people are kind of going away from each other. Those are also byproducts, but when you look at it in a positive sense, then things open up, right? When you look in a positive, then
Absolutely.
you see ways. If you look at negativity, then you see obstructions. So yeah, that's a great attitude to have. So awesome, Harshanki. We'll come down to the discussion. So one is that since this podcast obviously is consumed by a lot of people who are like just starting off, your students. So a
Mhm.
basic thing also we can kind of cover about LinkedIn, where it kind of stands out in in lead generation compared to other social media platform.
Okay. So LinkedIn as a lead generation is one of the best platforms because the average person on LinkedIn has an income of $75,000. Now, we might feel as Indians, $75,000 is way too much. But
Yeah.
LinkedIn as a platform, even if you look at the Indians on LinkedIn, they are in the top 1% of the country. Okay. So the
Hmm.
decision makers that we have on LinkedIn are easily making what we would make in 5 years or 10 years worth of our income. And all you
Hmm.
have to do is just use the right kind of search filters. Okay. Now, if
Hmm.
you're sitting, say, I'm sitting here in Kutch, but I want to visit Dubai next month. I am going to Dubai next month. So I need to have a few meetings so that I can justify the expense that I'm putting in. What will I
Hmm.
do is I'll put in, say, CEOs in Dubai or CEOs or founders in LinkedIn. Use the bulletins a little bit. You have a lot of filters that LinkedIn can give you.
Hmm.
You can just filter them based on the
Hmm.
connections. Say, I only
But
want to
is
connect
this
with.
in the basic LinkedIn or premium and sales navigator?
So we'll keep it basic because
Hmm.
Sales Navigator is still expensive for a lot of
Expensive,
us,
yeah.
5,000 or 6,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
LinkedIn Business is a good alternative. That is just 1,600 a month because with the
Hmm.
free version now you don't even get two in mails. You don't even get two in mails these days, and
Hmm.
you can't just restrict your lead generation to two people, right? I mean, even if you toss, you're gonna get better results than that.
That's right. That's right.
We have to stick to LinkedIn business. What you do is you can just start with the search results itself. So, like I was talking about the Dubai founders, you can say founders. Then location may you can add Dubai. Then connection may you can add second degree because I want to use someone's name. Now, for instance, if
Hmm.
you want to connect with a CEO who is in Dubai and who's connected to me, if you're putting the second degree filter, then you can see that. And then in the introduction message, you have a 300 character limit, right? Where you can
Hmm.
send them an invite. You're supposed to introduce yourself nicely to them. And okay, hi, I saw you through Harshanki's network, and this is what I'm doing. This is how I can help you. Let's have a chat. That is it. That is it.
Hmm.
Like, even statistically, if you're introducing yourself nice and smart, you're not selling anything, you get 3% conversion, right? So every 100
Hmm.
people that you're connecting with, you can at least get three replies. And this is
Hmm.
like the worst possible result that you can get. If you
Hmm.
keep getting better at it every day, you can get closer to 40 or 50% conversion. Most of my clients are getting 50% conversions with the
Hmm.
invites that we send. And this is all just basic, no third party apps, no tools. I've not even like gotten into that. It's very
mm,
easy generating leads, because also the spending capacity of people on LinkedIn is pretty incredible, right? I mean, if you're making one CR and let's say he doesn't have time to respond to their emails, he can obviously hire someone for 10,000 a month who's just going through his emails and decluttering his inbox. Now, for a lot
mm,
of people, 10,000 may not be a lot of income or a huge income, but for a student in the first year of college, that 10,000 is going to matter him a lot, right? All he
mm.
has to do is just connect to a founder. And like I said, it's all about having the positive attitude. So I always go with the option of the worst that that person can say is no or not
Hmm.
reply. Don't be afraid of the rejection and keep sending invites. That's all.
That's right. In LinkedIn, obviously, I notice the if you say a value of a follower is much more compared to Instagram and YouTube and all. Because one, obviously, in LinkedIn, it's the follow and connection. There is a kind of related to each other, and those when you are sending invites, you will send somebody who is something connected with you, right? Or something in your domain, or something that's similar. So there, that is the kind of compared to on the open platforms, it's anyone can follow you for any reason. So that value, I think, on LinkedIn is higher. And when you are doing, if you're selling your services, it is to a valued connection, right, where you feel there would be some kind of an output. So if I'm kind of any kind of say online coach in the business setting on LinkedIn, I'll look at maybe growing my reach on LinkedIn compared to Instagram. Instagram maybe a little bit more vanity matrix, that okay, I've got these many, but really, does it really boil down to how much I can monetize it?
So, compared to the other social media apps, this is what I advise most of my clients as well.
Hmm.
That if you have a mass product, okay, so mass product is something that is low ticket and a lot of people
Hmm.
can buy it and it's direct to consumer, then
Hmm.
Instagram is the platform that you should be focusing at. So, say for instance, we took a coach ka example, right? So, there's a coach
Hmm.
who's selling a product for 499. You
Hmm.
obviously need more heads to your product because the
Hmm.
conversion rate matters. So if you have a
Yeah.
low ticket product or if you have a massy product, I would suggest to start with Instagram because it also gives you a lot of other liberties, right? But when you're
Hmm.
talking about high ticket, when you're talking about direct B2B conversion, that's where LinkedIn comes into place. This is where the average product size is, say, $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 or more than that.
Hmm.
Because I don't think a person who's willing to spend $2,000 to your product is going to see you dancing on Instagram. Again,
Hmm.
that is just how I feel. And, but a lot of people
That's
act
right.
differently.
But if
Yeah.
you're coaching, like what you do, it's um, in terms of who want to take your services, they are paying a huge amount for it. So you are in the B2B space. So you would work more on your LinkedIn compared to Insta would be supplementary for you, or you will have a really good strategy for Instagram as well.
Okay, so I did think of starting Instagram because I travel a lot, right?
Hmm.
And when you travel a lot, often all of your friends are like, why are you not making reels? You should put the content out there. But
Hmm.
that is something I enjoy doing it for myself. So I don't think Instagram is in the
So
charts
that's not
anytime
related to
soon.
your work, basically, just
Not at
yourself.
all.
And okay.
Yeah. And I don't think I'd ever dabble into the space of webinars or selling those digital books or online products. I
Hmm.
don't see myself doing that in the near future. Probably
Hmm.
when I get into that space where I want to get into the edtech space or the creator economy
Hmm.
education space, I would look into Instagram. Till then, I don't think so. Twitter is also good. Twitter is really good for building one-on-one connections. I don't think I hardly have 150 followers on Twitter, but the conversations that I've had and the people that I've met through Twitter are some of my finest friends, like in real life.
Hmm. Is it like more international, like those friends from a global background?
Oh no, so more they see friends because when I'm on LinkedIn, say 80%
Hmm.
of my LinkedIn is full of people, international clients, because I hardly have one or two Indian clients, right? So I don't really
Hmm.
get to network anyone with anyone in person here. That's when I
Hmm.
go to Twitter. Like if I'm in a new city, I'd probably look for people around. I'd probably look for what kind of conversations are happening, and also keeps you updated with a lot of trending things happening in the country, right?
Hmm.
So those kind of things, yeah.
That's right. Harshanki, we'll talk about your profile building, the basics of that,
Yeah.
certain kind of best practices within that. We can maybe even then get into a kind of a persona and what kind of a LinkedIn profile they have. So, firstly, I'll just the basics, which is for everyone, which you have. Like this is the first thing that you tell them.
Okay, so the first thing that I tell them is focus on your personal branding. Company reach is it's dead. Unless you are a meme page or you just want it for the cloud, you can put things on your company page. Otherwise, you should not focus on your company page at all. Uh, how do you optimize your personal profile for your business is by adding the right number of keywords. When I'm going through your profile, the first thing I'll notice is your banner. Okay, so I look at your banner and I see it's not speaking to me. Your banner should give me an idea of what your business is or what can I expect from you, right?
Hmm.
Because think of it as a menu card. Now, if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm going to see a menu and I'm going to see the price tag, the ingredients, and the name of the product, right?
Hmm.
The same goes with your LinkedIn profile as well. When I come to your LinkedIn profile, I'm going to see your profile picture. Oh, okay, this is a nice person, smiley face, friendly smile. Okay, this seems
Hmm.
approachable. I'll look at your banner. Okay, he is running podcast or he is selling
Hmm.
Instagram mastery course. This is something I want. And the third thing I'll be looking at is your headline. So I'm looking at your headline that is, okay, I help people do this. That is what we'll
Hmm.
usually cover in the headline. That is this one single line you get under your name. So
Hmm.
then that is a further explanation to what you're expecting from your banner. Okay. So this is like gradually you're trying to warm the audience up. And then they are coming to your featured section. So the fourth step is the featured section. Now, when they come to your featured section, is where you have to flex a little. Okay, I was featured by Forbes. Okay, I'm a Your Story author. I have been awarded by
Hmm.
Hacker, yada yada yada, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Flex everything that you can there. LinkedIn now also gives you, so the premium feature of LinkedIn also gives you a book an appointment button, right? That comes
Hmm.
directly under your name and title and
Hmm.
anyway that you can see your picture and your title, right? So you also have to
Hmm.
optimize that with whatever purpose you want out of it. If you want them to go to your website, you can add your website link. If you have a booking form, you can add a booking form link there. And
Hmm.
then comes your about section and the experience section. So before, this is like 2020 or 2021, what we used to do was the about section used to write as a landing page copy. So,
Hmm.
just like we have a single landing page talking about your service and how you can benefit them, that's how we used to optimize it. This is for the service based decision makers or agency owners or
Hmm.
freelancers. But lately, we have realized that a lot of people don't really go to your about section because you have a book an appointment button and a lot of
Yeah.
things going on in the top half itself, right? So, about section is something we focus on to organically get your profile visible. That is where a lot
Hmm.
of keyword stuffing happens. Okay. So if you're talking
Hmm.
about personal branding, make sure you're mentioning personal branding at least 3 or 4 times there. Don't just like blatantly stuff keywords there, but add a lot of keywords there so that the visibility
Hmm.
increases organically. And then you have your experience section. Do put in files if you have some PDFs, case studies, anything that you can put in there. That is
Hmm.
where you'd be listing your under your experience section. You'd be adding
Hmm.
your portfolio, you'd be adding your CV, any kind of results that you've had, and briefly describe what you have done. I know LinkedIn
Hmm.
gives you a 2000 character limit to like being as elaborate as possible. And if you're focusing solely on organic reach, like high visibility through the search engine, you can maybe put in
Hmm.
the keywords there. But as a
Hmm.
client, no one wants to read that much. If you can show them what you've done in as less words as possible, that is amazing. That is what I advise anyone who is a beginner. That show your impact in the experience section, add case studies, results, whatever you can. And then you have the skill section. So now I guess we can add up to 100 skills. Earlier it was 50. I think LinkedIn is rolling out the 100 skills feature. There are also a lot of keyword stuffing can happen. So if you're looking
Hmm.
for a job, your ideal job would have a lot of keywords. Even there's this ATS guide, right? That
Hmm.
the resumes are filtered through. So those are a list of
But
keywords
I
that you're
think there are only 5 skills. Am I right that we can put in on
Oh
the
no, there are that's under the experience section, but you also have a
experience?
separate section called skills, right?
Hmm.
That is where you can add up to 50 skills. Now, LinkedIn is
Hmm.
rolling a feature where you can add up to 100 skills. So you can
Hmm.
add as many skills as possible. You have, imagine if you have a skill as presentation. So that is also listed as a separate skill there. If you
Okay.
have a skill set as B2B marketing, then we'll probably list that also as a separate skill set, right? So
Hmm.
do a lot of keyword stuffing there. Only the top three will be visible. Rest all is just keyword stuffing, right? It will help you get like a nice reach. And the golden advice, which a lot of people miss, is showcase your human side. So we have a volunteer section, we have publication section, we have other organization, and a lot of other options are also there. Okay, so if a potential recruiter is coming to your profile, or if a potential client is coming to your profile, they understand the business side of you. By this time, you have showed them like 10 different ways. Like you've shown
Hmm.
them in 10 different ways a business side. Add a little bit of human touch by using those sections. If you go through my LinkedIn, I have like 6 volunteering opportunities listed there because this
Hmm.
just shows what you are as a person or the causes that
Hmm.
you're connected to, right? As a leader, it is very important because let's say if I want to join your company and you have
Hmm.
500 people working under you, and then I see, oh, he's an active member of PETA, he's
Hmm.
concerned about the environment, he's concerned about animals, and that will speak
Hmm.
to me rather than you writing, oh, I made $100 million. I don't give a shit about that. There are like 100
Hmm.
more people like you, right?
Hmm.
On the other hand, if you are an
And actually,
employee,
if you see, it's like put in your face this kind of way. I've made this much money in this much time, so that is perceived as like more people will come and connect with you. Like that's what they are showcasing even on Instagram and all that. It is in your face. This much money I've made, so that will attract more people. But does it actually work out like that?
Uh, I would say no. I don't
Hmm.
really. Using numbers is good,
Hmm.
but blatantly putting numbers everywhere is just bad. Okay, that is giving a
Hmm.
false impression or that is giving a false image because
Hmm.
A, everyone cannot do that. It's not easy for everyone to do that.
That's
Second,
it.
there is no way to verify, right? I mean, I also might say, okay, I've made like $200,000. That's not true. Everyone knows that. It's not true. Third,
That's it.
the target audience, right? So 80% of people consuming the content are teenagers. These are
Hmm.
16, 17, 18-year-old kids. They're going
Hmm.
to see the bigger numbers and they're going to be inspired by that. But no one
Hmm.
is prepared for the failures that are going to come their way. Okay, I
Hmm.
might see, okay, this person made $2 million sitting at a yacht somewhere enjoying his life. We know
Hmm.
that's not a 16-year-old kid might not understand that. So
That's
you
right.
should
So it's
relate
like
it.
even the controversies that have happened, we'll not name them, but it is with selling a dream in an educational course and all, which is, somewhere, they're very influential. Now, I think there's some kind of rule where which has come out where coaching centers below a certain age you cannot target those people for your services or the children. So yeah, I mean it's somewhere you have to kind of do your self censorship, like if you're kind of attracting people with money, like what kind of audience, like what you're selling, like because end of the day it'll get you more dissatisfaction and that negative energy, like when they know it doesn't kind of work out and it is not possible, like you're just selling something which is very far-fetched pipe dream.
Exactly. No, I agree to that. And this reminds me of those advertisements back when we were kids. So
Hmm.
if you remember, early in the morning we used to have these TV commercials,
Hmm.
back massagers, and some sort of this astrology equipments and some gurus, right? Those
Yeah.
astrology gurus coming at 6 in the morning, like the Baba will just spit on you or bless you, and you'll be healed like that.
Hmm.
This is what these generation Instagram gurus or LinkedIn gurus have been doing, but it does not work like that. I'm not
Hmm.
saying it's hard, it's achievable, but don't blatantly lie. Don't fool your audience like that. It's going to be very short lived if you do that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, Harshanki, we'll kind of do a short, like a summary, like what you have mentioned about the different parts. So, like maybe just one line as advice or best practice, we'll cover in that. So, like, say first would be your profile picture.
Yes. Okay. So anyone is not spending more than 3 or 4 seconds on your LinkedIn profile, okay? The first thing
Hmm.
that they see is your profile picture, then they see your
Yeah.
banner, and then they see your tagline. These are the
Yeah.
things you optimized, keep them approachable,
Hmm.
directly communicate what you're doing. So your
Hmm.
banner and your
So,
this
no,
tagline,
Hachangi, like we'll do one by one on them. So, profile
okay,
picture, you want like, I've no, what I've
approachable,
even advised,
smiley.
smiling and well, or it should be like a well dressed and doing like, you can say in a suit or a formals or something like that, right? In a proper expression, it should be either of the two, right?
Let's put it this way, don't go to a beach and put a selfie out there. Like a
Yes,
nice, decent picture has to be there. I
yes.
don't care if you're like not
That's
suited
right.
up,
One
but
mistake
a
I
decent
see
shirt.
also is the like you should not be like zoomed out, right? I mean, it has to be your
Yeah,
most of your face in it. So that basic error you shouldn't kind of make. And today with the tools out there, like your background and various other things, you can increase the brightness, but of improve. You don't have to have like a DSLR camera or like a photo shoot anymore. Like you can just
not at all.
yeah, that's all you can kind of do it, but that effort has to be in your picture because that's the first thing that the person sees, and if you don't have a picture,
Absolutely.
then forget about any attention on LinkedIn. uh, awesome. So second would be the banner that you see behind
Yes.
your picture. Yeah.
So what you do is you add some sort of a text there. Okay, Canva
Hmm.
has a lot of these free templates that you can use,
That's right.
and very simple language talk about what you can offer to the person coming to your profile. If you
Hmm.
have any pedigree, add that to your banner. Pedigree is, say, someone famous has worked with you or someone famous has talked about you. If you want,
Hmm.
you can put that. We do that for a lot of our founder clients, but for our service business clients, we just put in the impact that you're able to achieve. So, say for instance, I work with founders, okay? So, I'm
Hmm.
going to say building businesses and brands. That's it. That's it. Simple, neat, minimal, and directly communicate what the person is getting out of it.
That's right. What is your opinion on people putting a quote there? That's it, and in the
No,
profile.
no, 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 no quotes, no sceneries,
Hmm.
no, none of that. No,
And motivational
nothing.
message or something like that.
No, please don't. Please don't do
Okay,
that.
okay. So, like for a working professional, what would you one or two suggestions regarding the background that will really give attention?
So I worked with a McKinsey employee once on their
Hmm.
LinkedIn profile. Okay, now this
Hmm.
person was looking for a job change, but you can't
Hmm.
directly put it out there, right?
Yeah.
And he was a consultant, so we
Hmm.
simply wrote, "I consult businesses." That is
Hmm.
it. It
That's it.
clarifies, okay, you're working as a consultant, and then when you're coming to the headline section, it was mentioned that he's working for McKinsey. So simply put out what you're doing. It's okay.
Hmm.
Explain your profession like you're explaining it to a 7-year old through your banner.
Hmm.
That works 90% of the times.
Okay, so like just simplicity, we kind of overcomplicate it, and
Yeah, yeah,
actually, if
don't
you're kind of
complicate it.
simple, it will you can break through the clutter. Actually, awesome.
Exactly.
Next would be your headline.
Yeah. So your headline is the extension of what you've written on the banner, right? Now, say for instance,
Hmm.
you're a content writer, and
Hmm.
in your banner you've written, "I write blogs." But for whom
Hmm.
are you writing blogs? How are you writing blogs? Where are these blogs being published? That's what you cover in your headline. That is an
Hmm.
extension and an elaborate version of your profession or what your profile viewer can get from your profile.
Hmm. Do you think numbers we should use in that?
You can if you have good numbers to showcase. So a lot of
Okay.
I suggest this to a lot of agency owners, right? Like we have presence from 29 clients. I mentioned that we have presence from 29 countries. Then
Hmm.
there was a service-based agency owner who is in the business of Facebook ads, Meta ads. So
Hmm.
we mentioned that X million in client revenue. You know, so it's good if you
Hmm.
have numbers. A little bit of flex wouldn't hurt here.
That's right. If you can back it up, like put it in a way,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. Don't
numbers would
fake
get
it,
and
but
yeah, would
yeah.
get the attention. Definitely, numbers get attention. We as marketers, when we are creating campaigns, we know what people would gravitate towards.
Exactly.
Awesome. The about section.
Have a lot of keywords in the about section.
Hmm.
Briefly explain to them what you're doing, who
Hmm.
you are, how they can benefit from you, and how to get in touch with you. It's okay if you don't
Do you
have a how
think
you can benefit from you part. Yeah.
that's right? Storytelling, like you're writing a story about yourself, an interesting 200 words about yourself, that works, or keywords and what exactly you're doing, like very point based, that works.
So I don't think story works anymore because,
Hmm.
and I know this is a little bit of controversial because a lot of creators have said it otherwise.
Hmm.
But on an average,
Hmm.
let's say, Nikhil, you must be coming across 40 or 50 profiles every day, right? Are
Hmm.
you really going to go through those 50 profiles? No, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I know what I've done is special and what I've done is something I want to talk about. But the 100
Hmm.
people coming to my profile every day don't give a shit about that. So you
Hmm.
have to write about what they actually are concerned about and how they would be attracted to
Hmm.
you. If you want business, if you're just there as a visiting card, write your biography. It's all right.
Actually, I don't even remember when I last read the about section. So
Exactly.
it could be a case where it's about the keywords, right? So the back end of the algorithm is kind of analyzing. That is more important to write for the algorithm than a person, because people are not actually seeing that. As maybe when you have like 10 people you've shortlisted for a specific thing, and then you are kind of doing a really intense research on that. And how many people will kind of do that, right? So you're looking
Exactly.
at the way an algorithm, your keywords, and how you kind of structure that. Yeah.
This storytelling part that you mentioned, Nikhil, that can be covered by writing post. Okay, so if
Yeah.
you're active on LinkedIn, if you're posting every day, that is where you can do the story part. In your about section, is going to go to waste, like, and you don't want that. So rather utilize it for something that it's actually made for.
That's right. And yeah, then coming to the featured section, like what we mentioned about yourself, the few posts you can feature if you have told a story about yourself or some challenge you face, that can be maybe in the featured section.
So I'm actually against putting your post links there because
Hmm.
that is also vanity matrix, right? Like if you're putting a post there, usually a lot of people what they do is like if they have more than 100 likes or more than 500 likes on a post, they're
Yeah.
going to add it to the featured section. But
Hmm.
what benefit is it actually giving you? Why do you want people to see that you
Hmm.
had 500 likes? Rather put something that
Hmm.
can help you increase your conversion to your page. So,
Hmm.
do you have a resume that you want people to see? Put that. Do you have somewhere a blog written on a third party app that you want people to see? Put that.
Hmm.
Do you have a book and appointment link? Do you have a website? Anything that you want people to go to, you put there. And
Hmm.
also, must things that you must really put there is if you have something to flex about. Like if
Hmm.
you've been interviewed by someone really famous, or if you worked with someone really famous, or direct case studies also. Directly put your case studies that there's nothing to
Hmm.
gatekeep. This is what we advise to most of the people. But yeah, to each its own.
That's right. Harshanki, also you feel, people who are starting off, whether as a working professional or a business person, somewhere you have to fake certain things. Marketing is a part of perception and an illusion also, where you have to showcase certain things in a way, like you're kind of pushing it. So that angle is definitely there. You have to look at it with that perspective also, because end of the day everyone is trying to be heard and at least get some attention towards themselves.
See, you can also. I am a realist, okay? So
Hmm.
if you're able to back it up with real data, I won't ask you to fake things. And for someone
Hmm.
who has just started or someone who's a beginner, there is a way to write things. Now, you
Hmm.
might have noticed that if you've been inactive on LinkedIn for, say, for 6 months, then your profile reach is zero. But the
Hmm.
moment you put out one post, you're going to get 100 views, 200 views. Gradually, that keeps increasing,
Hmm.
right? Now, from 0 to 100 or 0 to 120 is a 120% increase
Hmm.
in your impressions. Now, that itself is a good number to put there. A very good
Hmm.
number to put there and a very good number to sell to your clients. I know you
Hmm.
must have gotten 100 views or 200 views, but if you're
Hmm.
putting, okay, I got 100 views on a week, or if you're writing it as, I got 120% increase in my reach in less than a week, and that is more
Hmm.
impactful, right? So don't
Hmm.
lie, test
Hmm.
things on your
No, but
profile,
it's a way of
present it in a
saying things.
different
It's
way.
like in marketing, it's never a lie. Like when you say a discount is 50% up to then 100. So it's a way of saying
Yeah.
things. Don't you feel? that is way, because generally people, when I even interact with them, they feel, oh, marketing is just, the you're telling this thing lies, you told me this. But it's a way of saying, and end of the day, when it is a way of structuring, obviously you cannot lie. Like if somebody really backs it up and or like confronts you or tells you that is this really, then you should show that it was genuine, right? It's a way of saying it. But
Absolutely.
definitely that angle is there. It's end of the day, it's media, and you have to know how to kind of play a certain game also within that. So definitely look at it on all perspective. What are you trying to also portray? Like what is that branding you want, perception, brand perception
Exactly.
you build. So definitely, and I feel as you do it also, you get better at the certain things. So um, as you kind of get into that whole game of content and all, you will showcase certain great things and learn also from that. So awesome. What would rest be? I would say then I think the skill sections, which I think you had mentioned, the part where it's a lot of for the back end. So if people are kind of searching you on LinkedIn, if you have all different kind of really skills and variations in that, that helps you in the searches you're coming up.
Absolutely. It does help you a lot when people are trying to filter your profile, right? So, from the
Mm.
back end part, adding the skills is really beneficial. From the front end part, so this is what I would advise to any newcomers also. Because LinkedIn has given you a section, doesn't mean you're supposed to fill everything on it, okay? Think
Mm.
about yourself as a customer. So, if you're going through someone's profile, please tell me the last time you went through someone's skills section and actually saw the skills.
Yes.
Hardly do that. Do we go through people's
Mm.
skills? We don't, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So just add the right skills either for your job or for the tag that you want majority of visibility for, and then move past it. Don't put too
Mm.
much time into it, but yeah, adding it the right amount of skills can help you increase your visibility organically. That's for sure.
That's right. Harshanki, the profile you have on LinkedIn, there is there an impact on the content distribution also? So a person who has a well optimized profile, like we mentioned, does it have an impact in the distribution of the content?
Yeah, to an extent, yes, because
Mm.
if when you're new to LinkedIn, you see
Mm.
LinkedIn often, and I think now everyone has the creator mode enabled by default, but a couple of months ago used to enable the creator mode, right? And when
Yeah.
you do that, LinkedIn also shows you the level that your profile is. Is it in a beginner level or an intermediate level or an advanced
Mm.
level? So that is like the more presentable you are, the easier it is for LinkedIn also to track your backend and then push your content out there. Also,
Mm.
another thing that really helps pushing your content out is how new your profile is.
Mm.
So LinkedIn really likes people putting content. Okay, so if you're say someone with less than 500 followers, it's going to push your content to more and more people compared to someone with 10,000 followers because LinkedIn understands that you're
Mm.
new, you're going to need a lot of initial boost, and LinkedIn gives the
Mm.
boost to you. So don't worry if you have less followers, as long as your profile
Mm.
is like nicely done, just keep putting the content out there.
That's right.
And that is
But
something
then
that will
it's
help
like
you
if
grow.
person is built up a following, you are saying that maybe they are not getting that reach, the push only. It's just even which I've observed that we are not getting that push. The ones who have higher followings on LinkedIn.
So that happens after you get to
Mm.
10,000 followers, your reach
Mm.
would start dropping, and then
Yeah.
it further reduces when you have 20,000 or 30,000 people in your network.
Mm.
So that is
Unless
a
people are
problem,
kind
which
of
is
engaging with your content and the content is really genuinely high level in terms of it is inducing some kind of a response, only then maybe you see those numbers and following and engagement going up.
no, but see what happens is like, say for instance, you have 500 followers, okay?
Hmm.
Your content is going to be seen by 5,000 people. That is a boost LinkedIn is giving you. On the other
Hmm.
hand, if you have 10,000 followers, your content would only be seen by 10% or 20% of your audience, which is
Hmm.
2,000 people. And for
Hmm.
someone with 10,000 followers, that is a really problematic area, right?
Yes.
Because why would
Yeah.
only 2,000 people see my content? And
Hmm.
then you further convert it to the likes ratio. So from 2,000, hardly 100 people or 50 people would like, and then 10
Hmm.
would comment on it. Which is why
Hmm.
like putting the right content out there really matters, and then you have to like pack it up with networking and like building your own community because this is something that all the creators face. every now and then you'll see some creator complaining about their reach dropping. This is the reason why.
That's right. Lastly, Janki, the section of your experience, what would be your best practice for that? For a, let's say for a working professionally, maybe later we'll discuss about businesses and other stakeholders. Yeah.
Okay, so for working professionals, a lot of you guys make your resumes, and resumes are
Hmm.
written in bullet points, right? So I have been
Hmm.
told that you only write one job as three or four bullet points in a resume.
Hmm.
This is what you can bank upon in your LinkedIn experience section, because those four bullet points can be converted into three or four paragraphs. Smaller
Hmm.
paragraphs, but paragraphs. And that is where you can explain how you achieved whatever you achieved. So this is what I tell any working professional. Whatever, if
Hmm.
you have written in your resume that, okay, I worked with clients and helped them scale from $20,000 to $2 million in revenue. Under the experience section in your LinkedIn profile, you're going to tell them how you helped them achieve those numbers.
Hmm.
Did you work with any cross-functional teams? Did you? What did you do? Did you have any GTM strategy? Were you doing cold calling, outreach?
Hmm.
What is it? How you did? You put everything
So
there,
you're saying it has to be
and
more detailed than your resume,
yeah.
the that section
Oh
where you
yeah.
are talking about the company experience.
Absolutely. It has to be more descriptive and give them clear data, explanation of what you have achieved. And not just those chat GPT descriptions name, but something that
That's
you've actually done. Yeah.
That's
So,
right. And but I've noticed the most common thing is you copy paste what's in your resume, the same thing you put it there. That is the most common thing I see on LinkedIn.
and those are the people who also complain about not getting jobs through LinkedIn.
That's
So,
right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That is interesting. Where there is still that perception that LinkedIn may will people have a cursory look. So let us not get into that many details. So actually, if you see, they are making the mistake where the resume has got too many details. Where people are having a cursory look of the resume, but on LinkedIn, it has the most staying power, right? Like when a person comes, would have to have a better look at who they're kind of connected with or interacting with.
Exactly. So when you talk about working professionals per se, right, it has to be
Hmm.
a more nuanced approach, because not just working professional, this is also applicable to any students. So
Hmm.
if you would have noticed, if you're applying for whether you're applying for a new job, or whether you're applying to a university, or even for these online workshops these days, your LinkedIn profile is the first thing that they'll ask you to submit.
Hmm.
Submit your LinkedIn URL, submit your Twitter URL, whatever is it, right?
Yeah.
And because you have certain restrictions with your resumes or your application essays, that
Hmm.
is where the experience section in your LinkedIn can benefit you at. Now, I mean,
Hmm.
and imagine like companies are paying so much money to have their websites. If you think of LinkedIn profile as your own website, wouldn't you want it to be more descriptive? Wouldn't you want it to be
Yeah.
more convincing? That also filters out a lot of your interview time, right? So if you're in HR, you're looking forward to hire someone,
Hmm.
the resume has been screened. You like the content in the resume. The second thing that you do is you're going through their profile. And you go through their profile, you see that, oh, okay, this person has further explained how he accomplished what he accomplished, and it adds more credibility. And then by the time they get on an interview with you, they already know your professional life inside out. So you just have to
Hmm.
have a brief chat and see whether you're the right cultural fit for them,
That's
and then
right.
you get a job.
And you get in
If
line,
you put in
it actually, the interview becomes so much easier, and it's somebody, you've
exactly.
got so much great information out there, so person sees an exact match. And when they are interacting with you in their interview, it's like they've made the decision only. Now it's just like, okay, that person just decent to talk to, and then you kind of take it further.
Exactly.
That's right. um, in terms of lastly, Shanki, the when you look at the profile and the angle of the recruiters actually looking at talent, this all these advice we give, you are going to get a better ranking, right, when they are kind of filtering out. So there are two things in this. Firstly, the HRs, when they are using the LinkedIn, when a free one they are using, still you rank higher when they have do some search in the keywords, or it is only relevant for the premium package or recruiter packages.
No, that's not true. So you're gonna rank better even if you have the free package with you, because you have the right
Hmm.
keywords added there. obviously LinkedIn has
Mm,
been trying to push the premium packages lately, so you would be
mm,
boosted a little more if you have the recruiter lite or the company paid account. But even if the
mm,
free account, if you're rightly optimized, you're going to get
mm.
higher visibility
No,
than
I
what you
mean,
have.
Harshanki, that the HR is having a certain, like, the free version or a premium or a recruiter version. So in their searches, is it only in their the premium packages you are coming higher up, or is it also if they have a free package that you somewhere come in that search up to a point, which is possible?
That is something I don't have the data for. So, because
That's
LinkedIn,
right.
I don't know. I think they've not made the information public. But when
That's
I'm
right.
hiring, I don't really see if the profile is premium or a free version. If
Hmm.
I see a lot of profiles, like nicely done profiles on the top
Hmm.
anyway. So, I guess
Okay.
it's all
Okay, so
about the
what is your,
optimization
like, we
done.
can then clarify in that your general process, what would be when you are looking at that? Like, are you able to filter people, or you are looking at the content and through that you're discovering people?
So when I'm trying to hire people for the rest,
Yeah,
what I do is I put in a post, or I'm connected to a lot of universities. So
that's right.
usually I'll just get in touch with the placement heads. I have been trying to hire the younger lot because I
Hmm.
like people when they're like full of energy and then right out of college they want to achieve something, and that's the audience that I'm targeting.
Hmm.
So I usually get in touch with the placement companies. But if I had to do it through LinkedIn, I make a post and I'll put up a hiring post there, and then I'll take
Hmm.
them to a third link. So the easy apply may you get a lot of people applying to your jobs, and I don't want that. I'm
Hmm.
not. I neither do I have the time, energy, or resources to go through thousands of profiles. I'll probably add like
Hmm.
a type form in the apply button and then take them to a third party thing. But the first thing I'll notice is their profile. If their
That's
profile
right.
has a sunset picture in their banner, I'm immediately rejecting them.
That's
Like,
right.
yeah, that
Yeah,
is for
yeah.
sure.
That's right. Like unrelated and put in no effort also. So that's a put off.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like that's the bare minimum you can do. So,
That's right. Awesome. So, Chanki, we'll look at a little bit about having potentially. So, we have a business in place, and we suppose I'm the salesperson for them. I'm using LinkedIn. We have some kind of a like a SaaS product or something, and we are looking at identifying and this thing. So, what would be your approach for that?
so we're gonna limit it to free accounts, right? We're not going paid here.
The Yeah, we'll cover because I think with paid, what happens? I've used Sales Navigator. It's so much more easier. Like you get different kind of filtering, and then you make your lists, and then you can directly, DM them, or through a connect or through the, I think in mail or something like that. So we look at say the free tool only. What is more mainstream? What people you can't generally afford that. Yeah.
Okay, so first is that if you're starting a business, you're gonna have a little bit of time to establish yourself there, have some credibility. Until
Hmm.
you don't have enough credibility, you're gonna have to network a lot more. So you can't just like put one post out there and then think of, okay, people are gonna come to me, ask about my service. It's not
Hmm.
gonna work like that. So I'm gonna divide it into two different parts. One is
That's
to
right.
work on your credibility part. Okay, so when you're doing your credibility, we're talking about writing and producing the right type of content to show people who you are as a person. What I would do if I was starting fresh is I would divide it into 60-40. So 60 is about me as a person, and 40 is directly talking to my clients. Okay, this is what I'm doing. This is my service. I'm selling it. Buy from me. Don't
Hmm.
be scared. Don't be afraid. Keep putting that content. And
Hmm.
60% of the content is the mellowed version. So you must have seen a lot of LinkedIn posts talking about the tofu, mofu, and bofu, right? So
Hmm.
60% of the content is a lot of mellowed approach to get more people to your profile. That is the
Hmm.
content we're talking about: failures, struggles, building in public. These days, building in public has become so popular. Like, just
Hmm.
walk people through what you have done. If you've done a landing page, how did you build a landing page for free? How can you help others? Get the people talking about you. That should be your content strategy. And second thing, like I said, do not be afraid to put your service out there. Be
Hmm.
very shameless about it. Okay, I am a web designer, I am a web developer, I am a UX
Hmm.
designer. This is what I can do. This is my process. Come buy from me. This sorts out your content part. You
Hmm.
have to do at least 5 posts. Saturday, Sundays, avoid. 5 posts you do, 5 posts a week. That should be done.
That means
Coming
almost
to
a post every weekday. Like so, every day that's
yes,
a post. Okay.
every day that's a post. Okay, so that is the content part is sorted. You can
Hmm.
sit on a Saturday or Sunday, write 5 posts, and be done with it. Now
Hmm.
comes your networking and the strategy part. Okay, easiest free cheap version to do is
Hmm.
think of creators who are 2 steps ahead of you. Now this is a very gray area, but it works. So go through
Hmm.
it. Think of creators who are like 4 or 5 steps. If you're at 500 followers, look at a creator with 5,000 followers. If
Hmm.
you're at 1,000 followers, look
Hmm.
at someone with like 7,000 or 10,000
Harshanki will
followers.
not cover that. I'll cut it out where that is the next where we'll talk about the networking bit of it.
Okay,
So
but you want me to
uh,
tell them how to filter the leads, right?
the no like strategies we'll just cover the content they are doing and maybe the DM aspect like how do you construct the
Yes,
message
that's
and
what
all.
I'm telling people how to
Yeah,
like find people to DM.
that's right. But will that come under networking and relationship building or that'll be a
No,
separate
no,
thing?
this is lead generation. I've not
Acha,
talked
purely. So
about the
that'll be a
networking.
separate in that. Okay, okay. Chalega. So awesome, great. I'll then retake myself. Okay, okay.
That's okay.
You, okay, you can start again. Okay.
Yeah. So the second part is the filtering out the leads and identifying the leads part. Okay. So what happens is because you're supposed to network so much, you don't have a portfolio in place, you don't have a clientele in place. And now you can write CEO and founders and look through like 100,000 founders. But how do you know if they want your services or not? So here what we do is we go to a little bit of the gray side. Technically it's not wrong. It's a little unethical, but it's not wrong. What you do is in the search filters, you have an option. When you say for instance you're looking for CEOs in Dubai, so आपने CEO you've written, then and the location you've written Dubai, and then on the top right side you would have all filters wala button. So when you click on the all filters, you would see an option that is followers of or connections of, and that is where you add a creator's name there. So, say for instance, if you're at 500 followers and there's a creator selling the same service that you have but has 4 or 5 times more followers than you have. So, say he or she is at 5,000 followers or at 3,000 followers, you'll put this person's name in the connections of section. Okay, so that will
Hmm.
filter out like good number of founders. So now you have from 100,000 founders to just 100 founders. Why
Hmm.
is this important? Because if this founder is following a creator selling the same services that you are, there's a high possibility that he is interested in working with you to some extent, right?
Hmm.
Steal them, send them a DM, send them a connection request, and try to build a relationship with them. That is how
Hmm.
you can connect with the initial lot. And because LinkedIn and under the free account, LinkedIn has restricted a lot and is only allowing you
Hmm.
to like send three personalized messages or two personalized messages and 1 or 2 emails every month.
Hmm.
This would really help you, you know. So
That's right.
it's very sneaky. There's a gray area, but it
That's
works,
right.
man.
No, it's not sneaky, I feel, because you are analyzing the followers that person has. So that's an engaged audience already. Even in
Yes,
advertising, when they suggest certain groups, it is based on data, right? That people have
exactly.
interacted with certain kind of content. So it's kind of straightforward. We only need to look at it. Arshanki, what do you feel in terms of there are a lot of companies, B2B companies like services which high ticket services. I feel that you should take the premium packages or the sales navigator which is really helps in the sales, because what happens, a lot of the sales people, there's a lot of time wastage in actually getting that specific list of people, especially in international sales, specific people, and then engaging, because there are so many features in sales navigator where you can nurture that particular relation also, like you like the content or there is some kind of information that you keep getting out of it. You have customer personas also or similar suggestions with AI now in navigator. So Just I feel many companies just they look at the expense of that and they kind of shut off from it. Where you are actually spending so much more on that person's day to day, is a full time employee. That this can be a really crucial tool.
No, I completely agree with that. So the problem is that a lot of people don't understand time as a currency, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you start understanding time as a currency is when you'll put in money in the premium tools or the paid tools.
Hmm.
But if you're a beginner, even if you're selling, say, a $2,000 product and you're a beginner, you don't
Hmm.
necessarily need to buy the sales navigator. You can start with LinkedIn business also. So LinkedIn has
Hmm.
3 or 4 paid versions, right? There's a recruiter version, then there's business, then there's sales navigator, and then there's something else also for the recruiters, like the expensive one. So you can start
Yeah.
with the LinkedIn business. That is just 1,600 a month, and if you're buying it for the whole year, you get nice 30-40% discount also.
Hmm.
Start with that. It will also give you the nice push. You have unlimited searches, you have 15 in-mails, you have access to 400 courses, and then you have all the premium AI suggestions
Hmm.
also. So
Do you
1,500 a
have like
month is
and
not too much.
filters also in terms of searches?
Yes, you do. Not as comprehensive as Sales Navigator, but definitely much better than what the free version has to offer. And we've done this. We've done this with a client of mine. So she is this a product owner agency. They're doing a lot of user research experience in
Hmm.
the designing space for
Hmm.
Canada and US Canada businesses. So they
Hmm.
didn't have a Sales Navigator account. They just had a LinkedIn business account. So we've used the business account. We filter the potential leads with the sneaky tactic that I just gave you, and then we send them invites. Then we get them to the inbox, and once they're added to the inbox, then you can start talking to them, and then eventually get them on a call with you.
That's right. Harshanki, about using LinkedIn, as a business networking tool and long-term relations, because since there are so many people on LinkedIn and people in positions of power, they get so many messages. Somewhere or the other, you cannot break through the clutter, right? Like if you have a direct message, you even have connected to the person, but you talk about your service only, I do this and if we can get on a call and all that doesn't work. So somewhere a long term strategy with certain, you're using your brain in it and trying to win over people, right, bringing them part of your community. So how do we kind of approach this?
See, I work in the space where I'm talking to people who are at least with a network of $10 million or above. And
Hmm.
talking to someone like that, the time is very precious. They
Yeah.
are the most busiest people according to them. And when you
Hmm.
have a certain net worth, you also have a little bit of ego, right? And
Yeah.
also like a lot more people getting in touch with them. So
Hmm.
rather than telling you what to do, I can tell you what not to do. What not
Hmm.
to do is don't pitch yourself directly. Like, do
Hmm.
not pitch yourself directly. It just showcases you as, when you go to the malls and there are these people sitting with a cologne there, they'll just spray that cologne on your face. You look
Yeah.
like that when you're putting your service or pitching them in the first
Hmm.
message. Never do that.
Or asking for your
Uh,
data that you will win some
yeah, yeah,
lottery
yeah.
or whatever in that. Yeah.
Those kind of people, you don't want to look like
Yeah.
that, right? The second thing that you should avoid is keeping writing the pleasantries. Okay, so like, I
Hmm.
would love to be a part of your network. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Why do you want to be a part of my network? How am I going to benefit from it? So don't write that,
Hmm.
oh, you're very impressed by the profile and you just want to connect with them professionally. No, don't write that. The
Hmm.
third thing that you can avoid is keeping the messages very lengthy. Thankfully, LinkedIn has already filtered this out.
Hmm.
Now, for the free accounts, you get 200 characters, and for the
Hmm.
paid ones, you're getting 300 characters. It's barely a sentence or two.
Hmm.
Earlier, this used to be a problem that you'll get like a very lengthy message. So don't
Hmm.
do that as well. And
Yeah, because I
lastly,
think
do
firstly
not
the person will not read it, also put in effort. So
exactly,
I feel 50 words is also maximum. Like what you just get to a point or whatever you want to convey. Like, but there has to be, what do
exactly.
you feel, certain kind of CTA, not a direct CTA, but certain kind of CTA in your message.
So, see, this is what I do, okay? So, if I
Hmm.
have to connect with the founder, I would first try to find if we have a second degree connection together.
Hmm.
So, say for instance, if I want to steal your client, so I'm going
Hmm.
to see is Nikhil connected to this person, and then I'll just say, okay, Nikhil referred me about your this the other day, and I'd really like to have a chat with you and see how can we collaborate or
Hmm.
explore synergies or whatever is the lingo that you're going for. Okay,
Yeah.
and the second thing, if I don't have a mutual with them, what I'll try to do is in very one small sentence. First, I would say one thing good about them. That okay,
Hmm.
your mission of say for instance, this is the founder is really focused on sustainability. He's focused about the
Hmm.
environment. He cares about the environment. So I'm going to say this cause speaks to me a little. By the way, I recently helped a founder go from 4K to 400K in 6 months. How
Hmm.
about we have a chat about it someday? That
Hmm.
is it. It shows that okay, you have credibility. Of course, only
Hmm.
say it if you have the numbers to back it up. Don't just like start bluffing about it.
Yeah.
That shows you have the skill set. That shows you've actually taken the effort to know about this person, or makes it look a little bit more genuine, right? And
Hmm.
then you have a CTA that also shows okay, this is just like maybe you're meeting someone and like having a chat with them rather than like selling your service constantly.
That's
And
right.
it gets you to the inbox. Half of the times they would not reply, neither a yes nor a no, they are just accepted your connection.
Hmm.
Even that is fine, that is golden, because once they are a part of your network and if you're actively posting, no, you are going to come to their profile every day, and one day they are gonna
Hmm.
want to like text back to you, dude, what are you doing,
Yeah.
and when you talk about networking with your peers, so this is the client networking that we talked about.
Hmm.
Another thing which is very important in LinkedIn is
Hmm.
networking with people offering the same services as you or
Hmm.
something similar, so you can like package the whole thing together and like offer it as a service.
Hmm.
uh, just drop in a message, hey man, very impressive, I saw your post, or I've seen your work for this brand and would love to be a part of your network, or let's have a chat someday and discuss something.
Hmm.
Do that. Build genuine connections, build a community, and think of it as just building friends in the offline space. Like if you'd gone to a cafe and if you'd like someone, obviously you're gonna go and have a chat with them. Just think of it that
That's
way
right.
and try building more connects with people offering similar services. Because if
That's
someone
right.
is ahead
So
of
here
you,
also I want to point out, like, if compared to a guy will face more problem than a girl, like when you have a kind of a messaging that is there. I would say the when I've observed and what I maybe learned, one observation about them, like what they are doing in the profile content, and something which you have actually worked for, like you have gone through things and you studied it, you put that. And CTA can be like very subtle kind of thing, doesn't have to be like directly coming on a call. It could be like an event I'm doing, if you want to be part of it or something like that. I'm coming online or whatever, something like that. And then you also would share information, like some one of your posts which has got great traction, said, hey, we would like to take your opinion on it, on this thing I've written or something like that. So I've seen these strategies because I have been within LinkedIn, like freelancing, or people are kind of approaching me as a marketer of some company. So these are few things obviously the male female angle was that it's easier for the female to get a response in terms of the connect, but not that. So I'm not saying you have to use that approach, but like you have to have somewhere. So you segment everyone and have a message design. You know what you want to message, and then use it. And there are tools that do that today. Third-party tools, when you integrate it with LinkedIn, you can have them and observe, the conversation in each one of them, and have create funnels for them.
yeah, no, absolutely. So you have a lot of paid tools also to do that. You can manually also filter out a lot of data. But there's one thing that you mentioned, that the response rate is different for males versus females.
Hmm.
I have actually never seen that, nor have
Hmm.
I observed that.
Hmm.
Unless you're being very creepy and talking about this lady's pictures or something, then that's going to be
Hmm.
problematic. But
Hmm.
LinkedIn as a platform is it's known to do business. Okay, so
Hmm.
like it's not like if
No,
a
but
girl
even
is
the
sending
connect,
a
what I meant is that the connect is easier. So a man, when he's doing it for networking, he will have to put in more effort compared to a female. It depends
No, I
obviously where
don't.
you are also.
I don't think so. If you're connecting to a founder and
Hmm.
if you have the results to back it up, he doesn't give two shits about your gender. He gives shits
Hmm.
about how you can benefit him or her or them, right?
Hmm.
So I don't think the gender matters at all. And even like we, from my client roster, 60 or 70% of my clients are males and 30% are women. And we've not really had any problems when it comes to the gender specific networking. Even when it's a
That's it.
guy or a girl, people are very respectful, right? If I can learn something from you, or if someone can learn something from me, and if
Hmm.
you're able to convey that in your introductory message, obviously I'm gonna want to be friends with you, or I'm gonna go on a networking tour. The app is meant to be transactional and not creepy, and genders definitely don't
Hmm.
play a role in that. Unless
That's
your
true.
message is creepy, then that's a completely
No, no,
different
no. It's
issue.
not creepy. See, it's about the connect that we are saying where you want a meeting or a call or something. So it's important where even, and this is not only the male female, also say if I've just passed out of college, and compared to somewhere I have made myself a name in the market and have content on, there is going to be a different response. We have to kind of realize where that person is in the scheme of things, and then your messaging, what will you get your response. So it's about an awareness more than like what is actually happening and the conversion that is there. And also I was just saying about that because you cannot do that comparative. You have to know where that person, like if somebody is comparing with me, a student, I'll get more response. Like even when I reach out for podcasts and all, I will get at what stage I'm in, I'll get compared to somebody just starting out. So um, that was what we were saying. But definitely, first thing I would say was building your community with your content that we kind of talked about. When you are constantly, when you, I think, suggested putting out like almost 5 content pieces in a week, it is crucial because that pulls in your audience. And it, when you message them and they then directly go through your profile, they see that content, and it just creates some more of an urgency to connect with you. Or else there is nothing, like what else is, a picture is there, or what, and maybe updated in your about section, nothing much. So you have to have some, you have to be kind of make yourself worthy to person has some kind of relation with you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Ashanki, about let's say on LinkedIn, the messages aspect we said, like some general, I would say, do's and don'ts we can cover for the LinkedIn message. So, firstly, let's take an example here only of a freelancer. You are a social media services you give, and you are connecting with some CEO of a company to give you a meeting for the same. So let's take that like an example and like a do's and don'ts in that.
Okay, so if you're a freelancer, say selling your social media services to a CEO or a
Hmm.
founder, the first message that you're sending to a
Hmm.
person, avoid
Hmm.
adding the keywords or the sentences like, I am the founder of XYZ company,
Hmm.
or I have this digital marketing agency, because that is killing the word limit that you have.
Hmm.
Rather than doing that, talk about the results that you have achieved. If you're a newcomer, you must have achieved some results for your own personal accounts. If you
Hmm.
have not, make your accounts, try to achieve some results there, and then talk about those results in the invite message that
Hmm.
I have been, let's say this. So if you're talking about a freelancer selling the social media services, that is a very generalist statement. Okay, we
Hmm.
have to like narrow it down. So if we narrow it down to say restaurants or cafes, cafe owners, find a
Hmm.
lot of cafe owners also, or let's say
Hmm.
an e-commerce website. Okay, so an e-commerce website, and you're pitching your Instagram services to them. So you can talk about, okay, hi, I'm this, and I have achieved X% of results for this company, or I have worked with 10 Shark Tank brands. Now to do
Hmm.
the same for you, let's hop on a call, or would like to be whatever
Hmm.
your CTA is. That is an easy way. When you talk about the impact that you have achieved for someone, or any fancy brands that you've worked with, that will give you an easy entry to the other person's inbox. When you talk about freelancers or startups or agency owners, because these are bootstrap businesses, the titles can be inflated. right? Now I
Hmm.
can tell you I'm a founder of three companies, but with Tino companies, what if I'm the only member there? Like I don't
That's
have a
right.
team, right?
That's right.
So it's not very convincing unless you have like a multi-million dollar business and you have like
Hmm.
2,000 people working under you. So do this, talk about the
But
impact,
that
and then
means they should
directly,
not mention it. If you
yeah,
have,
definitely
you should
not.
not mention that. Okay, okay.
Definitely not. Even when I talk about my introductory message, I write about so if I'm talking to the industry specific portfolio that I have, right? So if
Hmm.
I'm talking to an investor, so we recently worked with an investor who started his own company and now has like 100 CR portfolio. So to
Hmm.
talk about that in my introductory message, that this is what we did for this investor, and I thought I should reach out to you because your profile speaks to me or whatever, like the
Hmm.
cause that we talked about. And then that will get the entry because then the person will be like, oh, I'm very interested. How did you do this? Is that even possible? It's like, yeah, it's
Hmm.
possible. Let's hop on a call, right?
Hmm.
Nowadays, I've also reduced my calling time. I'll send them like a Loom video. So I'll have a pre-recorded Loom video on what
Hmm.
are the services that we're offering, and that helps me filter the clientele because the kind of people that I'm working with mostly have VAs or personal assistants and a team of them. So they'll just go through the
Hmm.
videos, they'll see the price. Everyone cannot afford $2,000 service, So you
Hmm.
send the video to show that okay, can you really
So you're
afford your
saying
service?
in the LinkedIn message you have created a, is the video like specific for them who you're sending it to, or it's a general
Uh,
about your portfolio now?
both kinds.
Both kinds of,
So
okay.
after the introductory messages, once
No.
you land into the inbox, you've exchanged a few greetings, you've talked a
Hmm.
little bit, and then the next step is to get on a call. So when you
Hmm.
try to get on a call, I would either record a video or send it to them. And if the
Hmm.
pre-recorded video is doing the work, then I would not record a fresh video. Right now, what
Hmm.
I'm showing in the video is first the case study, that okay, this is the result we achieved. Then the next is the clients, that these are the clients that I've worked for. The third
Hmm.
is the pricing strategy, okay, this is how much I'm charging and this is my availability. And then the
Okay.
CTA, you have a book call link. So after all of this, if the client is booking a call, which means 80% of your selling is done. Now
Yeah.
it's only the cultural fit, right? Okay, does she understand my language? Does she understand my time zone? Does she understand who am I trying to sell? And
Hmm.
regardless of your pricing, this works at most of the places. Most of
That's
the
right.
places, because you've given everything to them. So they just know what you are getting in touch with them for.
That's right. Harshanki, so in your first message, can you have a link in that?
I would refrain from doing that.
Okay. You're like, also you see a lot of cases like you are on social media now, you're not going to react to everything, especially people who are in important positions, they will kind of miss out your message also. So people can kind of get generally, disheartened, or you'll say maybe I'm not getting a response. So actually, what in the digital world, what is the reality? Like, do you feel after giving a particular message, there's no response, you should message after time? Is there a certain time limit? What is your comments on that?
Do not be afraid of rejections. If you've started a business, then rejections are a part of it. Like the
Hmm.
industry standard is 2%. Like
Hmm.
imagine how messed up that is, right? Like only two
Hmm.
people are going to respond from the 100 requests that you're sending.
Hmm.
So, A, do not be scared of rejections. Second, keep following up. Don't be desperate. Don't be like, sir, please buy from me. Ma'am, please buy
Hmm.
from me. Please get a call. Don't be creepy.
Hmm.
Casually follow up with them. Okay. Like, I'll give you an example of this
And this is the case
founder
I'm saying, if a person is not responded, so you've sent
not
a message,
responding. Yeah.
there's no response, then how much time do you kind of take? And that you feel you perceive like you've gone through the profiles and he's in your list where you feel there is going to be some synergy.
So I'll give you an example. Okay, so
Yeah.
we recently onboarded a client who is in the pet space. So they
Hmm.
have a few products for dogs, cats, and other pets, and they're launching. They recently were funded. Now, this
Hmm.
person, I connected to them through outreach in November. Okay, we spoke in November, then his dad
Hmm.
died, and then a lot of things happened. So he
Hmm.
stopped replying to my messages.
Hmm.
But I had his number. So what I did was, like, when it was Christmas, I wished him for Christmas. And then, maybe
Hmm.
just asked him how his dad was doing. He exchanged a few messages and then we moved past. So we didn't talk about the service. Then
Hmm.
came the Uttarayan time. So I again texted him during Uttarayan time that, hey, how are you? I hope your dad is good. I read this article that you're funded. And it's
Hmm.
so nice to hear about that. So now this person asked, oh yes, and then
Hmm.
they are also humans at the end of the day. So if you're constantly
That's right.
getting in
That's right.
touch with them, and if you show them you care, उनके अंदर का guilt जाग जाता. So then they'll be like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
sorry, I've not been able to get in touch with you. How about
Hmm.
we hop on a call next week? That's it. You're in. Be a friend to them, and
That's right.
they'll respond back.
Yeah, that's a kind of a great strategy where you have not, obviously you had exchanged certain messages, but then the person is ghosted you basically on, say, LinkedIn. Then how do you kind of take that conversation where you just maybe greeted them? So it was not like you are following up; it's a greeting you are giving,
Yeah,
and somewhere then they again go back to that. Once they see the greeting, they go back to, oh, our conversation, I didn't reply back, man, I should kind of.
exactly.
So yeah, this is awesome. And like, even like, say, even when I am connecting with people for and all, you have your on WhatsApp your broadcast list, and also you can connect. I mean, the greetings or something, information or some report is, you feel this particular audience it will be useful for them. You can put in that, so at least it at the top of the mind somewhere you are, right. Along
Absolutely,
with that, yeah,
absolutely. And
that's
I
right.
often advise people who have just started outreach or networking, because sales is not easy.
Hmm.
Marketing is when you're putting the content out there, sales is when you're constantly being rejected, right?
Hmm.
And that is where I ask people to draw the comparisons with your dating life. Okay,
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong about it. If you are on Tinder, Bumble, or Hinge, you would swipe to 100 people before finding the person that you actually like speaking to. Even
Hmm.
if you're speaking with 10 people, maybe two of them will stop responding to you after a while.
Hmm.
That, and if that is not bothering you, why would a client's message bother you? You know,
That's right.
think about it that way. When you're on a dating app, and
Hmm.
I know this may sound a little weird, but that is your playground to practice. Go and approach people who are better than you, out of your league, stronger than you. In any way, if they're better than you, and if you're being rejected by them, no, you get into the habit of
Hmm.
accepting rejections and being better at conversations. This helped me a lot.
That's right.
Like it really helped me, and I think a lot of people should also try that as well. Who knows?
That's
You may
right.
actually end up meeting someone really good through the dating apps, right?
That's right. So, and also there is a correlation, like when you say marketing or a sales part of it, or dating, where would you have your, major, your shortlisted people, right, in your list, and then how you kind of nurture those leads, and
Exactly.
then try to get,
Exactly.
like, in what status, like whether you have got a phone call, a number from them, a phone call, a meeting, second date, whatever. So it's, if you look at it from that perspective, like, because it is human connections end of the day. And I feel today where we are going towards in business is kind of lines are blurring. It is a human relation end of the day. So you have to know how to you know create a connect with that person, right? So all these techniques that we are saying is to create that, because it's something like, he's not going to directly, like, if say you are into social media services, he's not going to, after you directly pitch to him or him, it is when he requires it, right? And he's the first person he'll remember is you, right? Because you've created that connect with them. So it's a
Exactly.
that's why it's difficult, because it is a long process, and it takes a quality and quantity in your approach towards it, yeah.
Absolutely. I've read this book by Timothy Ferris. It's the 4 Hour Work Week, okay? And this is where
Hmm.
I got this advice from. So, when Tim Ferris also started doing business, what he used to do was he used to approach one stranger
Hmm.
physically and try to get their number, okay? And that gave him the initial confidence to like do a lot of cold outreach. Now, of course, this is early 2000s when this gentleman wrote the book. And back
Hmm.
then, we didn't have the privileges of dating apps or LinkedIn or Instagram or
Hmm.
Twitter. Now we have more freedom to do it. Don't
Hmm.
be a creep, but at least try to network with one person that can benefit you in any way, and just keep practicing it. Like that will give
Hmm.
you so much increase in your self confidence, and you would be inert to rejections, right? You won't be
Hmm.
afraid to reach out to people then, and that definitely works.
That's right. And I feel it kind of like when you go for these events, so sometimes there is a initial kind of, you feel you don't want to do that, like, approach, or you feel you'll be rejected. But I feel once you do, have the courage and you go for like one person in within an event, it even if you are rejected, you feel kind of liberated, kind of. You feel like, yeah, I did this, and I'm feeling great now. I can go for the second or third or attempt and all. Like, you have crossed that
Exactly.
barrier. It's about crossing that barrier, and then it doesn't mean anything to you, wherein you feel, yeah, it's just about time. It's like a law of average. It's gonna happen. So a no would
Exactly.
is like to the next no next opportunity would come. So yeah, that is the kind of approach kind of you take in your personal and professional life as well. Awesome.
Absolutely.
So Harshanki, we'll come to advertising on LinkedIn little bit. If you could talk about some like strategies you have used on that particular platform, where on LinkedIn it's a little bit you have to be more strategic and specific, because the amount money you're spending on a lead is the highest on LinkedIn, right? Because you're very focused audience you get on the particular platform. So just you'll cover certain strategies or best practices for it.
Yeah, so I'll keep it very to the point and brief. LinkedIn
Yeah.
has a very high lead acquisition, customer acquisition cost. The cost is very high for LinkedIn, but
Hmm.
it's also giving you the maximum conversions, right? So for every dollar or $2 that you spend on LinkedIn ads, you're gonna
Hmm.
get at least 0.45 or 0.5% ROAS, which is amazingly
Hmm.
compared to Instagram or Twitter. What you're going to do is start with really small budgets. First of all, it's meant for organic methods. So if you're getting the results organically, don't go to ads. But if you're
Hmm.
hell-bent on running some sort of ads to boost your business, start with little budgets and focus on in-mails rather than just showing the post or display on the ads, because
Hmm.
in-mails assure you in their inbox, right? Even you get a in-mail message, even with the free accounts, you'll see a lot of in-mails coming to you, right? They're either selling insurance or some sort of service to you,
Hmm.
and that will give
That
you
I think is
better
now it's called a
conversion.
message, direct message ads. That
Yeah,
it
that
directly
one.
goes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that one. So directly land into the inbox if ads is something you're hell bent on. Otherwise, I would still say rather than putting your money in the ads, buy the tools and
Yeah.
just make your own funnel and then go ahead with that. There's Lucia, there's Apollo, a lot of tools that can help you
But
nurture your whole lead
Harshanki,
process.
to businesses with a certain amount of budgets, would you still recommend them advertising solutions? Say it's a B2B SaaS product, and they have to have quite a bit of meetings. The sales team started. So would you then say that, okay, you have to use a certain amount of advertising budget for that?
I have run advertisements for this person who sold biryani through LinkedIn ads. So it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. If you have the
Yeah.
budget, then you have to be very creative with the designs that you're making or your
Hmm.
CTAs, because LinkedIn also shows that it's a sponsored or a promoted post. So, and like go all out with your creativity, and then definitely you'll see the conversions coming in. We've
That's
sold
right.
biryanis, man. Can you imagine? Like we were
That's right.
targeting companies. So like MNCs have these dabbas and tiffins dropping in, right? So that
Yeah.
is where our target audience was, and we were trying to get in touch with chief people officers or HRs of these companies, and that's where we ran our ads, and we got good conversions. So it
That's right.
works.
That's
Yeah.
so case to case basis. We can't kind of get too general in that. Awesome.
Yes.
So Harshanki, the if you are the marketing manager and you're handling your LinkedIn operations of your particular company, like what are the metrics you're looking at? Like in the lead generation efforts. Like if you're looking at your company, dashboard, and like what you have done with the content, or nowadays I think even the messaging, company messaging is there on LinkedIn. Earlier it was not there. So what can we like look at in terms of the metrics, and where are we at this point of time?
Simple answer, money in your bank account. If it's converting into money, that it's been a good conversion. But a more nuanced and this descriptive answer would be to see how many emails or phone numbers that you've gotten. Because you never
Hmm.
know, maybe LinkedIn dies tomorrow. So cross promotional activities are really important. So have
Yeah.
some kind of a data in place. If you get that, you can keep selling your offer to them till they like tell you to stop, right? I mean, I've
Mm,
also gotten messages sometimes myself. I also sent messages to people, please stop annoying
mm,
me with your emails.
mm,
So, have some sort of data that you can cross promote to later. That's what I'd say. That is like the best metric to
mm.
target.
That's right. Yeah, something specifically, your number you've got, then out of that also the meeting you've got, then that's leading to the second meeting is the
Again, this is
discussion.
like the
Yeah.
dating app.
Any.
Like if you're meeting
Yeah.
someone on Bumble, you've gotten the number. Even if the person deletes the account, you can get in touch with them on WhatsApp. But if you don't have the
That's right.
number and if you're having a good conversation, there's no point, right? So
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. So the definitely you look at normal business metrics in this case. LinkedIn is nothing alien here. What is actually happening through your content or your messages and all? Harshanki, you must be aware of there's an engagement percentage also. Like when you look at the content, like a post and all. Let's say okay about the post. What kind of metrics are you actually specifically looking at in terms of improvements?
See, so again, this has to be divided into two different aspects. One is
Hmm.
if you're posting for leads. So if
Hmm.
you're posting for leads, you have to monitor how many people dropped you a message, how many
Hmm.
people sent you a message connecting, I'm interested, or any sort of whatever your end goal or the keyword is. And we're
Hmm.
talking about a post that is solely meant for clout, like getting more
Hmm.
attention or making you a famous creator. And you're supposed to
Hmm.
focus on the impression to like ratio. So if you've
Hmm.
gotten 100,000 impressions or if you've only gotten 50 likes, then that is a
Hmm.
terrible ratio to have. But if
That's it.
you've had 500 impressions and you've gotten 100 likes, that is the post that you should be focusing upon. It's okay if it got
Hmm.
500 views, but 100 people actually liked the post, which means they understood the content and they spoke to the content and connected with the content, right? So that's the ratio you should be looking at and gradually keep increasing the numbers.
Awesome. Awesome. So I think it's been a great discussion with you here, Hashanki. We covered a lot of interesting content on lead generation that and what are the best practices that you can do on LinkedIn as an individual and also as a business. So great, Hashanki. Any kind of closing words like where do you feel content creation or lead generation or where technology wise where is LinkedIn going and where should we kind of pay attention to?
See, to conclude, I would say it's LinkedIn content creation or personal branding is still at its nascent stage. Okay, so only one out of 100 or 200 people is creating a content on LinkedIn. So there is scope, there is growth. Don't be afraid. If you want to have a business, then you need to show your face there, put content out there, and never be scared of rejections. Like, just work your way through rejections and you'll get to where you want. Thank you so much for having me on this platform, Nikhil. I'm really glad I could speak to your audience. And if any way I could have been helpful, I'd be grateful. And yeah, one thing we can do is since we've connected here, I have been using this tool called Valexy, which goes at 80 euros a month. But if you're interested in lead generation through a third party, I'll give you 2 months for free. Just drop me a DM and I'll send you the link across. So that is one thing I can do for your listeners. And yeah, all the best. And yes,
Definitely.
please, I'm just a DM away. So if you want any tips on your LinkedIn, I'd be more than happy to cater.
Awesome, Harshanki. So Harshanki, your social. So apart from LinkedIn, are you active on any other platform or any other kind of say you are part of a group or some events or something you host through your own like content or anything you want to share about that?
No, I don't. I'm usually invited because we do a lot of workshops and everything, but those are like company workshops or university colleges. So I don't
Okay.
know. I might be there in your company or campus one day preaching LinkedIn again.
That's right. So now solely it's purely LinkedIn, and anyone wants to connect with you or any kind of a conversation that would be purely
Yes,
through LinkedIn.
absolutely. And we do have my newsletter, and I've not been much active there. So, yeah, sadly, that's it. LinkedIn is the only place to connect.
That's right. Awesome. So thanks a lot, Achanki. You took out your precious time and you came down for my particular podcast. And I think the answers also you went in quite great details, and I appreciate that. and obviously people will learn quite a bit from it. And obviously when they want to get into more details, they can directly contact you and take your services. Awesome. So to the audience, the MI podcast is present on Spotify and all the major platforms that are there for podcasts. And you can also go on YouTube and subscribe to us. Many more interesting episodes coming in with people like Harshanki. And not only like I covered about the topic of discussion, but also about themselves, their journey and all. And also I'm open for more people who want to collaborate with me on these particular podcasts. So thank you everybody. Thanks for your time. I'll see you
Take
all.
care. Bye
Take care.
bye.